Hello, hello, everybody.
Hey,
Welcome.
we are so excited, you guys, that y'all are here. We are so excited because you know what? I know it's like summertime. Who's ready for summer, right? Ready or
Yes.
not, here it is. Some of you are not ready because you're realizing your kids, are home too much and you're already ready for the fall to start back. But we are excited. And today, that's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about the season that you're in. So, as we're starting off today, I want you just to be thinking about like, what season are you in? Are you in a season that your kids are coming home? Are you like, praise Lord, I have empty nesting? Are you like excited to go visit the grandkids? Like I was talking to one of my good friends today. She's driving back from seeing the grandkids. So, what is it? What are you excited about or what season that you're in? Maybe you're in a beautiful season. Maybe you're in a hard season. We're going to talk about both today. So I want you to know the person who invited you here today, she's excited for you just to listen, open heart, open mind, no strings attached. We're here because we have a passion for women and we have a passion to see women to reach their God-given potential. And that's it. That's our only agenda today. So pull up a chair, pull up a coffee, a drink, a whatever, and let's just dive in and have a conversation. So let's first meet each other. I'm Amy Allgood. I'm a national sales director of Mary Kay out of Shalimar, Florida, which is close to Destin, where everybody vacations, which is why I was in a 2-hour traffic jam yesterday. So if you do come visit, it's all good. It's beautiful. It's worth it. I got to remember to take the back road now that summer's fully here. So, Julie.
Hey, everybody. I'm Julie Hopkins. I live in the Woodlands, Texas, in the Houston area where no one vacations in the summer because it's 110 degrees.
And humid.
And we all see Amy. But I am a senior sales director in Mary Kay since 2001.
Yay. Welcome.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Cindy Sheppa, and I'm in Lindale, Texas, which is East Texas. And shout out to the Texas girls, Julie and I. And I am I'm excited for you guys to be here today. Been growing my business for 24 years, and I am a Pink Cadillac top director, sales director with Mary Kay.
Yay. Awesome. All right. Well, we're just going to have a conversation, just like girlfriends having a conversation. That's one of the best parts that I know all three of us love about Mary Kay is the girlfriend time and growing each other, sharpening each other. Iron sharpens iron. We all get to make each other better. So we're not just girlfriends. We're girlfriends who elevate. So put elevate in the chat because that's what you're going to be elevated today by hearing it. So I'd love for y'all to put in the chat, what season are you in right now? How would you describe in one word what season that you're in? And then the second question I want you to answer in the chat is if you could add or like what do you want or need more of in your life right now, right? So if you could add something to this season that would make it better, what would that be? Okay. And then just listen as we're talking about that. So the first thing I want to start out and just have a conversation around is I know all of us have been in this business over 20 years. And so we've walked through a lot of seasons, a lot of good, a lot of bad. I want to talk about both today. So let's start with the positive. Let's start with the good. So Cindy, I'll start with you. Tell me about a time that you went through just a season and Mary Kay really enhanced that season. It was a beautiful season. And how did Mary Kay help it make a beautiful season?
Well, probably one of the best seasons, but also a very challenging season because we really took a leap of faith was when we retired my husband from his job in corporate America. Yeah. And we had been praying for probably 10 years. My youngest was every night when in our prayers, he would say, "Bring daddy home." And he was commuting back and forth over 2 hours every day. He missed out on a lot of things with our family. And he was in a very toxic work environment, which I don't know if anybody is living in a toxic work environment right now, but it affects every aspect of you, right? It affects your family. It affects your future. It affects your attitude, right? And so we had been praying. And we took a very big leap of faith to bring him home. He started pursuing a real estate career. And within 2 months of him coming home, we were working towards finishing up our first top director trip in Mary Kay, and we finished it. And so that was a big, exciting season, not just for me and my husband, but also my entire family. And just to see God work and move and us being so diligent. We have a saying in our family that Sheppas don't quit. And so we kept praying and praying and praying for that to come into fruition. And it did. And for my boys to see how God's moved, and not quickly, not in the timeline that we wanted, but he moved in such a mighty way, and the impact that has had on my family, and them seeing us take a step of faith and trusting that God would provide. And he did abundantly more than we could have ever asked or imagined. So that's probably one of the brightest and most impactful seasons in my life and in my family's life as well.
And I think that's just such a beautiful story of obedience lived out, right? And as you were sharing that, I did a training this morning, and I shared a story, and this reminds me of that. And it was this cute little story that this girl would come home, and she would kept asking her dad to play with her, and the dad said, "Honey, I don't have time. I can't." And she says, the little girl always remembered he had his briefcase. And then she'd go to, the mom and like really sad and say, "Why can daddy never play, with me?" And she said, "Listen, daddy works really, really hard, and he has a lot of work. And when he's gone all day at that job, it's so much work that he has to finish it at home." And the little girl says back to the mom, "Well, maybe he should go to a slower group." And I think sometimes we need to go to a slower group. Right? If like we're having to sacrifice our family,
yes,
to be at that job, there's something, right? And if you're in that situation, and I was there in corporate, why I left corporate, maybe God is prompting you that there is a different rhythm, a different pace. And if you're feeling that restlessness, pay attention to that. Don't just keep, pushing. Like, yes, don't give up, but maybe, God sometimes wants you to pivot. So, Julie, what about you?
Yes. Well, immediately what comes to mind is when I started my business, I was a nursing mother of 9-month-old twin baby girls, nursing simultaneously every 3 hours, just about around the clock. So I literally can't imagine having to go to a regular job at the time. I just couldn't imagine that. So what a blessing. So not only, let me fast forward, not only did Mary Kay just fit beautifully because we can be our own boss and work whenever we want, fit beautifully into my life. Then I remember my schedule shifting from the newborn schedule to the toddler schedule, then the toddler schedule to the school age schedule, the school age schedule to the teenager schedule, and then the teenager schedule to the college schedule, and now the college schedule to the young adult schedule. And through it all, Mary Kay has been there. I've been blessed to drive 6, I think, free cars and earn the use of that, and just the friendships, all the flexibility you could ever want. It's been such a rewarding journey.
And I'm sure everyone's listening going, "Okay, wait a minute. That must be some good products because you do not look like you could have adult children." Right? That's what I'm thinking. Well, and I think, whatever, that was such a beautiful picture of like whatever season that you're in. When you can have a business like this, you really get to kind of design it around that, and you can change it. And that's what's really hard. I see a lot of women that I talk to or work with that like don't have that option. And it's really hard when they shift to a different season, but their job doesn't shift. And so we really get to mold it around that to do that. Well, Julie, you're a part of my highlight. So when I started, Julie got to see me working that very stressful corporate job that I was coming home and had no time and bringing home my briefcase. That was pre-kids, but I still brought home the briefcase, with me. And that was like really my drive, is I wanted to get married and not, to be the wife that I was envisioning and not that stressful wife. And so right before we got married, literally 2 months before we got married, I was able to walk away from that corporate job and had earned my first car. And that was such a driving factor. But not only that, it was during that process that I wanted my dream wedding, and my parents had a very small budget they could give us. So my Mary Kay was able to provide financially to get the seat covers, to get, the place at the stadium that I wanted to have, all of that. And so I just think about, that would have been such a regret not to have my dream wedding that Julie sang in, came all the way from Texas to do that. I know. So
you sang in her wedding, Julie?
I did. We were actually at seminar, and I was out in the lobby playing on the piano, and she came up to me and asked me, I just really had just met her.
Yeah, that was only the second time we had met, I think, or maybe the first.
She said, "I have a question for you." I said, "Sure, what's that?" She said, "Will you sing at my wedding?" I said, "Of course." That's so sweet. So yes, my husband and our 4-year-old twin girls took a road trip to Tallahassee.
Yeah.
I love that.
It was
Aw.
special. In the church I grew up in. It was awesome. It was awesome. All right, well, let's switch gears. I know that's all happy and stuff. So I know that some of the ladies listening, they're walking through a hard season. And I mean, we're all friends. We've been friends a long time, and we've walked through celebratory moments like the wedding, and we've gone through some hard moments that we've had to see each other through, and I'm grateful we can be there for both very genuinely, and we can pray for each other, and know that we're going to really, when we say I'm going to pray for you, we know that we will. So that's special in itself. So Cindy, I'll start with you again. What's like a hard season you've had to walk through, but Mary Kay helped you to get through it, whether that's financially, emotionally, spiritually?
Probably one of the hardest seasons. I'm gonna get teary eyed, but one of the hardest seasons of my life was when my daddy passed away. It was very sudden and very unexpected, and he was young. He was 67 years old, and so that, and he was my best friend, like, and my biggest cheerleader, and so that was probably the hardest time. And I'm so thankful that I built such a strong business prior to that, so I could truly be completely in the moment and focused and be with my mom for an entire month. I took off an entire month, but because I still had my customers that wash their face and I could just push a button and have their product shipped to them, right? And because I had built a strong team, they continued to work their businesses. And so within just a few, even taking off a complete month and really spending time with my mom in that time, and then that transition and helping her with all the things that come with losing a spouse, within a few months, we earned our first pink Cadillac. And we dedicated it to my dad. It was really cool. This is a really cool story. I don't think either one of you guys know this story, but my dad was my biggest fan, and he always talked about how he was going to ride in my pink Cadillac with me. Well, we earned several cars, but we had not earned a pink Cadillac before he passed. And so we earned it we had a week left in the month of March. And it usually takes about 3 months before your Cadillac comes, right? Because they shut down the plant and paint all the Cadillacs for the quarter and all that. And so it takes time to get it. And we were going to spread my daddy's ashes. And so he passed away in January. We earned the car in March, and then we were going to spread my daddy's ashes in May at the coast, at the beach, and near Julie, at the Texas beach. And I called Mary Kay. I earned it a week early before the end of the month, and I called Mary Kay Car Services, and I said, is there any way I can have the car early so that I can take it to the beach to spread my daddy's ashes? This would be the closest thing to him actually being there. And I'm bawling on the phone, and wow. Career Car Services is bawling on the phone. We're just crying our eyes out. And she said, Cindy, it's very unlikely unless somebody that earned it in December, decides to take the cash compensation and changes their mind. But I will put you on the early release. So this was a Monday. And then on Friday was the very end of the month, and it was career conference. And so Friday morning, I was talking to my senior sales director, and she's like, have you heard from Mary Kay Corporate? I was like, no. She goes, well, I'm just going to pray over you right now that God's going to just move in a mighty way, and that somehow, some way, you're going to get that car before y'all go deliver, your daddy's ashes. And so she prayed in exactly an hour to the minute of that prayer. Mary Kay Car Services called me, and they said, we have a pink Cadillac for you, and you can pick it up in 2 weeks.
Wow. That's
amazing. So I got to take it to spread my daddy's ashes. Wow. So that was so special. And I was so thankful, that we have a company that, even though we are independent contractors, that we have a company that loves us and wants us to succeed and have, have our dreams come true.
Yeah,
So
exactly. That's what, you see God's hand in that, and then you see the company, doing what they can to bless that. That's so beautiful. And what a great moment. That was a hard moment that, Mary Kay helped make it a beautiful moment. Julie, what about you?
Yes. So actually, about 15 years ago, my dad had emergency open heart surgery, and I was able to just drop everything, hit the road, drive 12 hours. I drove by myself, and then my family caught up later, but I literally just dropped everything and went. Similarly, also, it reminded me when Cindy talked about her dad being her best friend. My grandmother, when she passed away about 14 years ago, she was my best friend, and we did everything together. We were two peas in a pod. But what I remember about Mary Kay is that I got card after card after card in the mail from the DM directors. And even one of my family members commented, like, who are all these cards from? And I just remember thinking that it made such an impression on me that people actually cared. And it wasn't just lip service. It's actually, there's proof. People do care about you in this business.
Yeah. Well, I want to say, Julie, you wrote me such a special letter a few months ago. My grandma passed, and I have it still out there, and I read it often because it was so heartfelt. So you paid that forward. Said thank you. Well, I want to ask our guest a question as we start to wrap up here. And as I share a hard moment that was asked to me when I was just a guest like you guys, and somebody asked me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? So I want you to just answer that question. And I will tell you that I am so grateful. When I said yes to Mary Kay, I actually didn't really need Mary Kay in my life at that time. I was making good money. I was like newly in love. But because I was asked that question, it made me look into my future. And I've always actually, I've always thought about the future, but that really made me put it into perspective in my early 20s, like, where am I going to be in 5 years? And I don't think enough of us look that. Too many of us are living survival mode, and that's not God's intention or plan for us. So when they thought about that, I was like, I don't really know exactly where I'm going to be, but I'll probably be married because, I knew I was newly in love. I don't want to be at this job. So gosh, if I don't change anything, where is it going to be? Well, God knew where I was going to be in 5 years. In 5 years, just after that, I was married, but I got pregnant with my first baby. Exactly 5 years after I started, because she was born on our anniversary. So it was 5 years exactly that I would have found myself in the most traumatic situation. I was rushed to the hospital, almost bled to death, almost lost the baby, and my first baby ended up staying in the hospital for 2 months. And I'm so grateful that I didn't wait for the crisis to happen in my life, because let's say I would have said no to Mary Kay when they presented, and I was like, oh, I'm good. I got a good job. But yeah, I don't love it, but whatever, so many of us can just justify that. But had I said that in that crisis at that point, I would have had to walk away from my job, because even when she was released from the hospital, she had 5 different doctors, 5 different medications. I had to become a nurse and a mom overnight, which meant I would have had to walk away from a full-time job. That meant our income would have gone in half, and I would have been devastated, not only emotionally, but financially. So my challenge to you guys is, don't wait for the crisis to happen. Maybe you're thinking like, oh, I'm good right now. But we know season is a season, and there's going to be hard seasons that are coming. Are you equipped financially? Are you equipped mentally? Because it wasn't only financially that got me through that, emotionally and spiritually, because of my Mary Kay training. The nurses would come to me in the NICU and say, hey, could you go encourage or go pray for this person? Because they could see how I was handling it over someone else. So let's wrap up today, you guys, and just say, what is your hope for the future? So what are you excited about, thinking about maybe something next that, Mary Kay is a part of in your life, and, whether it's going to bless you financially because of the flexibility, Julie, like you talked about. So Julie, I'll start with you this time.
Yeah, that's a hard one, because there's so many exciting things to look forward to always, right? But I would have to say a dream home, and probably in the next year or two, a home that can someday have grandchildren visit, even though I'm not a grandma.
Yes.
But it's one married daughter, and just looking forward to many fun times of gathering together as a family in a home in a very special part of the town where I live. That's I know that's where I want it to be.
Mm-hmm. That's so awesome. That's so beautiful. And for everybody listening, I want you to just think, like, all of us I know can dream. Mary Kay has taught us that, right? And it's also taught us to have hope for the future. So I want to encourage all of you, regardless of what season you are, if you have hope for something, and let's say you decide to join Mary Kay, and like now you actually believe, more likely you can have the money to do some of those things, or it will help you believe it. It'll help you dream again and not just survive. But when you have hope for the future, you start making better decisions in the present. You don't wait till it happens, right? And I think Mary Kay's given us the gift of having things to look forward to. So mine, and then Cindy, you'll close us out. So when I started, one of my first dreams was to have a home on the water. And that dream came about 7 years ago. And then the other dream was I wanted this like outdoor space with a pool, and not just any pool, but I had a specific designer that I wanted to design my pool and build my pool. And I knew that was going to cost a lot. And so because Mary Kay taught me to dream, about 3.5 years ago, I went to go meet with this designer who lives out of town and start the dreaming process, right? Because it starts with the dream first before the practical side. But I officially signed the contract and we're under construction now. So
Wow.
that's really exciting. And a part of that vision for me when I was designing it with him is I said, I want to host women's events here. You know, I want to be able to. So I was envisioning these little spots that women would go and get to have quiet time or prayer time or gathering time or sitting around a fire time or being in the hot tub time or being by the waterfall that we're creating. So it was just really amazing. And I can remember so specifically where I used to do my retreats back in Clearwater, and they had this big outdoor space and this fire pit and the waterfall by the pool. And I told the girls then, I said, one day I'm going to have a resort in my backyard. And so I look forward to it all these years. It's about to come to pass. And I can't wait, not for it to just bless my family and bless the community, but to be able to bring women that I do life and business with to also get to experience this dream. All right, Cindy, what about you? And then tell them how they can dream like that.
Yes. Okay. So, I was honestly, when I was young, I was a big dreamer, and I thought I was going to, be in the Peace Corps and marry a doctor, and we were going to save the world together. And I've always had this desire in my heart to be a world changer. Like that is just what God put into my heart. And then I think as we get older, life sets in and stifles those dreams. And sometimes, guys, you need to dust off your dreams. So put in the comments, like, what is something that you've always wanted? Maybe something you've always wanted to finance, like this pool that Amy talks about, or your dream house, or the lifestyle or experiences that you want to have, that right now in your current season, you're unable to finance, right? And so I love that Mary Kay gave me the ability to dream again and the vehicle to make those dreams a reality. And there's so many dreams that I have been able to finance, in my 24 years in this journey. And y'all heard about one of them when we retired my husband from his job in corporate America. That's probably the biggest dream. And then also, my very first one was I was a broke school teacher, and I was living month to month on my paycheck. I had $8,000 in credit card debt that I could only pay the minimum balance. And it didn't matter how hard I worked, I would make the same amount of money as the person that went home when the kids went home. And so I started this business really for the money and to pay off that credit card. I gave myself a year to pay it off. We worked out a business plan with my mentor, and I got it paid off in 4 months, and just holding 2 appointments a week. And so that is really when I saw that, wow, this is legit. Like this is a real thing. This isn't just like selling lipstick. Like this is a legit thing. And so I want to challenge you guys, and I want y'all to drop it in the comments. If you had an extra $500 that you could spend, not on bills, right? Or responsibilities, but on something that a dream or a goal that you would want to put it towards, what would you put that towards? What would you put it towards? Put it in the comments. I want to know. We want to know. And so because we want you to dream again, we want you to dust off those dreams. And I had the dream to change the world. I never imagined that I would change the world through a foundation. I never imagined that, but God has transformed this business, I know for all of us, into not just a business, not just an entrepreneur venture, but also a marketplace ministry. And we are able to walk out our purpose and our calling through the vehicle of Mary Kay and make those dreams come true. And so, with that being said, we want you to dream, and we would love for Mary Kay to be the vehicle to help those dreams come true, just like it has been for the three of us. So there are yeses in your life that will forever change your life. The first yes in my life that forever changed my life was when I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. The second yes is when I said yes to this business opportunity on Valentine's Day when I said yes to my husband when he proposed to me. And the third best yes is when I said yes to this business opportunity on Valentine's Day 24 years ago. And those three yeses, however, I had no clue that third yes would forever change my life. Those three yeses have forever changed my life. And so I don't know if yes to a Mary Kay business venture will change your life, but neither do you. And you will never know unless you say yes, right? And it's probably one of the easiest yeses you could ever make because it's only $35. You can start for as little as $35 and just stick your toe in the water and see if this is a good fit. Right? Just like trying on clothes. Like you don't know if it's going to fit good or look good on you unless you try it on. So we're inviting you to try this business opportunity on today and say yes. It's a $35 decision. You can always upgrade to the $90 Pro Start. You can go Pro, and that will unlock $400 worth of product to use for yourself, use to demo at your appointments. And your Mary Kay mentor can help you with a business plan for what dream you want to finance and what activity is going to align with what you want to finance and what you want out of your business. And so we're inviting you to do that today. And so in the comments, drop yes if you are open to
Yes.
To saying yes and giving this business venture a try. And if not, God might have put somebody on your heart that could really benefit from a entrepreneur venture like Mary Kay. And so get with your consultant, share with her if it is a yes for you. Or if you have somebody that this might be the best yes for them. So thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate your time and consideration, and we hope that you dream big and that you find the vehicle, Mary Kay or not, to make those dreams a reality in all seasons of your life. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.